Good morning, VIPs. It's Thursday, May 18th. Tomorrow, just want to remind you, we have Rex coming on at 12 p.m. So clear that out in your schedule. We'll do a nice show with Rex tomorrow. And boy, this market is just like ripping. It's insane. It doesn't look like it's ripping. QQQ, SPY, kind of flat. But we went through earnings season at this point, and things are relatively stable. We got all the big retail out of the way, and things are okay. Banks, we have what was it, PACW or what, Western Alliance coming out with some good news. All the banks seem to have stabilized, so things look good right now. And I'm still skeptical, so I'm still going to think about hedging and be positioned for a bad situation that could happen at some point. And anyway, you're going to need a correction at some point, but take a look at these. Take a look at these specific stocks. This is insane. I just want to jump to NVIDIA and Microsoft. NVIDIA and Microsoft both are at, well, NVIDIA is at a 52-week high. I believe Microsoft is as well. And they're both like a little snap of a finger away from an all-time high. That's like nothing. That move from 304 to 336, like that can happen in a few days. It's insane. And then Microsoft as well. Look at that. This looks even closer. This looks like an even better shot with a lower RSI of getting to new all-time highs. So right now, the trend is bullish, and I'm not fighting the trend. Of course, you got to be in the right stocks to some extent as well. It's been paying off to be in these big cap tech stocks, especially ones that have AI exposure like NVIDIA and Microsoft. But in any case, let's go back to the top here. Alibaba had earnings this morning, and I think the report was good. Now, what I don't know is anything about guidance. That conference call, I don't know what time it ended. You can see the pullback now. Is that because something was said on the call about guidance? I don't know. But revenue was roughly in line. EPS was a huge beat, and they gave an update progress on one of the organizations they want to spin off, right? We talked about that before, the spinoff. Here you go. You can see that in here. Approves first business spinoff. Now saying Alibaba posts mixed earnings. It really wasn't mixed. It was it was basically in line on revenue. There's some headlines saying they like beat by a smidgen, and some headlines saying they were below revenue by a smidgen, right? And this morning I saw Bloomberg CNBC app putting a push notification out that Alibaba's down because they missed revenue, but like they didn't miss the revenue. The only reason it would be down and stay down today is if guidance was bad, but there was no guidance given on the press release. Maybe guidance has been on the conference call, but I don't know that. Okay, so that's something to look into. If there's no guidance, or if guidance is good, then let's just look at the technicals here. You have the 200 DMA at like 89.70. That's got to hold. If 89.70 holds, and if there's no bad guidance, I could see this making a move to about $95 next, about $95 target. Okay, and then you have your downside to just hold you at the 200 DMA. All right, NVIDIA. I'm going to let Vegas speak to NVIDIA. She's been all over NVIDIA. So at 9:15, we'll talk to her about NVIDIA. But I'll just let you know there was some news out yesterday, and this thing looks poised for a move to that all-time high. Unbelievable. All right, Palantir. I want to mention this. We've been on top of this since the last two earnings reports, right? Flip to profitability, another quarter profitability, guiding for full year profitability, and that comment about unprecedented demand for their AI product. And look what we have here now. Look what we have here. Go back to the 6-month chart or the year chart, and you'll see we had resistance at 1030. Got rejected twice at 1030 on this candle and this candle. These were identical candles. You see it? Even the volume. These two candles, now we have broken through that candle. Now it is extended hours. It is pre-market at $10.30. So we have to wait and see till open if it holds at 10:30. If it does, what do I see next? That's right, up here, 1162. I do my 1140. I do my technicals mostly on candle analysis and moving averages. All right, I don't draw lines like other folks do, and it's worked very, very well for me. So $11 and what was it? $11.62, the high of the day. Well, the close is 1145, maybe 1145. That's going to be your target for Palantir if it holds $10.30. So things are looking really good for Palantir right now. Again, I'll let Vegas speak to Micron. There was some news out on Micron. I believe she mentioned this right at the end of the show yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, about money flow. I could be wrong, but we'll we'll talk to her soon. All right, Sting had more buyback. So this has been on top of our list. We played this from this level here this morning, May 10th in the morning when it opened at 46.83. Our target was a 200 DMA, hit it almost to the penny over 2 days. Doing another buyback of like 1.3 million shares. So they're constantly buying back their shares, putting a floor in the stock. This is great for selling puts on. Will it make a move to like 50? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. A lot of pressure on XLE. Let's see how XLE is doing because XLE brings down STNG. See, XLE is still down this morning. So a tough one, but shorting puts on this, very high yields. That's the way I've been playing it for a second entry. Actually, the first time we played it with stock. And then on this pullback, somewhere in there, we shorted puts, $45 puts expiring next month, and those are doing well. All right. DRIO had news, guys. All right. DRIO, I am going to pound the table on this. There is a lot of, now this is when you get the synergistic effect coming in on multiple, like stack catalysts, let's call it, right? You get stack catalysts, you're getting news after news after news. Winning big contracts. We have Aetna launching. They beat earnings. We have Aetna launching July 1st. We're going to have a press release on that soon, within the next few weeks, I would think, right? So this morning, they got their second deal through the Sanofi relationship. This is a PBM Med 1. And what's interesting about this is they said the launch will be phased rollout beginning today. Hallelujah. None of these like press releases where they win something and it's like God knows when it actually takes off. Beginning today with expansions into additional chronic disease states throughout the second quarter. All right, this is great. And then it says members can enroll on effective June 1st post-launch. I mean, this is great. All right, good stuff over here. And it came from Sanofi. This is a second deal they got from Sanofi. And remember, Sanofi is the one that did all the data. They just released that data about decreased hospitalizations that was statistically significant. And maybe that's going to help Sanofi close the deals with that rigorous study they did. Now, I don't know how many members this is, though. I don't know how impactful this will be. Med1 says it operates in all 50 states. Its customer bases include organizations of all sizes across a variety of industries. Med1's honored to be included in the 2022 magazine 5,000 bucks. So I don't know how big it is, but nonetheless, it shows momentum in winning deals, especially that it's Sanofi. And when you get stack catalysts, you get that psychological effect, right? Where the people on the sidelines just watching the news, even subconsciously, maybe they don't know what any of this stuff means. But when they see press release after press release, eventually you get to a breaking point where like, oh, things seem to be going well here. So I think it's time to pound the table. There it is. Pound the table on DRIO. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize the 50 DMA. Wow. Okay. If it holds this level and there's a bid at the 385, the 50 DMA, that could be, although there was fake moves above it. So not necessarily so reliable. You see that? We had some fake moves above it. Let's see what the weekly looks like. All right. The weekly, we had a high of 409. So we'd like to break 409 and then make a move to 446. So I think those are the levels. Let's see if we can break 409 and make a move to 446. I'm not going to rely on the daily moving averages since it was a fake out here the last few days. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, now we're getting the stack catalyst with anticipation of the Aetna catalyst coming soon. So I think it's time. If you're not in this, it may be a good time to buy it. You make your own decision on that. All right. Speaking of DRIO, I want to mention the talk, which in a way, it's in the same space as DRIO, similar space as DRIO, I should say. It's the same space, but a different business model. This stock doesn't have a catalyst this morning, but yesterday hit the 200-day moving average. And that's a key level here, the 200-day moving average. And I will say it's much, much cheaper fundamentally than DRIO. Much cheaper if you look at their EV to sales, if you look at their path to profitability, how soon they'll be profitable, how much cash they'll have left over once they're profitable. All of those metrics are actually far superior to DRIO. All right. And when you see this here at the 200 DMA, you got to think there's a possibility of breakout. Now, again, I have no catalyst to anticipate that it will break out today, but the market's so hot right now that you can forgive someone for saying, I might want to take a chance on this and buy this. Now, I'm not trading this, but I have it. I own it in my long-term IRA. All right. APRN, we're looking at this one for continuation. APRN, it really faked us out yesterday on the post-market live. This thing went to 70 cents, like a huge candle right at the close, and it pulled back. Nonetheless, it's still looking good. we got to basically break to make this go. We got to close above 65 cents. Or yeah, we got to close at or above 65 cents, and then you get the green light. Then you can see that big move to $1 or much higher. So that's the key level you got to watch. I told you the thesis yesterday. I'm not going to rehash it. If you haven't seen the thesis, you can go to storytrading.com slash, I don't know, you go to YouTube. Go to youtube.com/storytrading, click on the live tab, and you can see from May 17th the thesis on the APRN. All right. All right, LAZR. Gosh, LAZR, more insider buys. We covered this yesterday. It was like 1.2 million in insider buys over the last couple of days. So the stock is gapping up. And what's great about this, we've been following this because it was started with fundamentals. So this has all 4 pillars going. The fundamentals was it back here? When did it move? I forgot when they came out. Yeah, it must have been this move from like 6 to 10 or 11 was when they signed that multi-billion-dollar deal. Yes, it was with Mercedes. That's when it happened. Multi-billion-dollar deal with Mercedes, or a series of catalysts, which we covered. We've been covering this the whole time of why it went down here. But the fundamentals hasn't changed throughout this whole period. It was for different reasons why it went down. Fundamentals have been good in terms of inflection point. They're not profitable yet, but that deal I recognize in my book is an inflection point for the long-term success of this company. And then you have this gigantic short position, 30% short, 10 days to cover. Everyone's bullish on this except Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs out there was a sell rating. They're probably the reason why there's 30% short. And anyway, the CEO comes in buying millions of shares over the last few days. Again, 10 days to cover. This could be explosive. If it holds this level, 659 area today as support, then your target's 725. And that's right at the gap too. Isn't that a coincidence, right? 200 DMA plus this gap fill at 725. And then the other side of that gap there is 775. I will note there's massive open interest at 750 on both the calls and the puts. Oops, here we go. See, 28,000 on the calls, 25,000 on the puts, and also on the $6, 20,000 on the puts and 21,000 on the calls. So I don't know, is that some sort of collar that people are playing? I'm not sure, but 750, if they're going to pin this at 750, that could make sense because of the levels I showed you. All right, about 730 it was, and 770. Those were the two levels of the 2 areas of this gap right there. So that's kind of your target range. I think more so 730 is about all I'm willing to bet today. RSI is relatively low, so LAZR is looking good. It's a top idea for me today. I just want to mention AI has been absolutely soaring. It's been insane, and I have to start to wonder, is this going to trickle into any other AI stocks if this gets too expensive? So SOUN is one that comes to mind. So I don't know. Don't have a top pick on that today, but just something to watch. AI, we've been selling puts on AI. The premiums are insane. Even now, after this big move, you could sell $17.50 strikes and get an annualized yield of like 70%. You think this thing's going below the 200 DMA in the next 3 weeks, or even, I don't know what that strike is. Yeah, 3 weeks, something like that. I bet against it. So that's an amazing deal on AI if you want to short those puts. We're watching VTSI that's worked out gloriously. That's worked out gloriously. And in any case, we have a big seller at $7.35. I've been saying 6 to 660 is your buy zone, 750 above, kind of your sell zone in that range. And then looking really, really good. Eventually, I anticipate this to go over $10. All right, if they continue to execute, and I believe they will. All right, what else we got? KODK has been exploding. I think it hit our target to the penny, hit the 200 DMA. So now it's pulling back. And I would get the pullbacks on this. So let's see how far it pulls back. It would be a gift if it goes to like 360 at the 50 DMA. This company had an inflection point in terms of their operational efficiency and their flip to profitability, not in their revenue, but what matters in this market is profitability. And we have that inflection in KODK confirmed, looking really good. I say buy the dips on that one at the support levels. ESLT had some news. This is like the Lockheed Martin of Israel, $300 million deal, gapping up. Hard to trade this because it always gaps based on what it's doing in Israel, on the Israeli stock market. And I'm not going to put a trade idea out on this, but it's over the 50 DMA and probably a good company if you're interested in that, maybe longer term. rather than for a trade. We're monitoring XXII. There's been some news out on XXII. Yesterday, there was an FDA symposium where they're like double and tripling down on we got to have nicotine limits. We got to get rid of the flavored menthol, all of which would be a boon to XXII. But on the same day yesterday, the House of Representatives, in this negotiation they're having over the debt ceiling limit, they made a proposal that saying the FDA should be blocked from doing any of these mandates. They should be blocked. So that's a big pharma, big tobacco at work. The lobbyists paying some people off in Congress is saying, let's try to block the FDA. So a lot of politics involved here, and we don't know which way it's going to fall. So both good and bad news for XXI yesterday on that front. Very important to pay attention to that. If the decision's supposed to come in August, okay? So FDA, and in August, based on everything I've read from the FDA, they will probably come out and ban menthol and maybe put some limit on nicotine. I mean, all that stuff's coming in August. Is going to be a boon for XXII. All right. And let's just stop over there and we'll move back up on our friend Vegas. Hold on. I have a note here. All right. Okay, here we go. Morning, Vegas.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
I'm tired. I'm slow. My reaction times are slow. I haven't slept well recently.
Oh, maybe
but that's
need a new
okay.
pillow. Need a new pillow?
It's just I'm just excited because we started our fun 2 weeks ago, and anyway, but we'll work that out. Excuse my slow reaction times in the meantime until I catch up on my sleep. But wow, I mean, everything's going great. What can I say? We're just having a lot of fun. So I noted Palantir this morning. I think that's breaking out in pre-market. What say you?
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, listen, Palantir finally had the what you call the ignition candle, and we were waiting for this. We got to wait for this break of 1050 because you know what? The break of 1050, been waiting for it for actually quite a few weeks and didn't break it. So let me just see this 1050 break to see a squeeze, and love to see a squeeze towards 12. So Palantir could see a squeeze here. If you notice, a couple days last week, May 10, high day was 1030. We were not able to break that and break 10. So 1050, we did hit 1050 this morning pre-market, but we did not break it. No. So we have to break that or it's going nowhere. But the volume pre-market, is phenomenal.
By the way, I see 1059 in pre-market, but why not 1030? I did this morning when you weren't here. I was saying 1030 is a key level of hold because you noted we couldn't break above 1030. And I'm actually thinking as long as it holds 1030, we're on our way to 1160 at the top of that candle. So similar. Yeah. I got a similar outlook, slightly different levels, but I'm definitely bullish on it.
Yeah, I'm definitely bullish on PLTR. It is ready for a move. It's just a matter of getting these, making these shorts panic.
And it's perfect. This is a perfect stock for the story trading methodology because the earnings were great on the fundamentals.
Smashing earnings, smashing.
The sentiment is great on the comment with unprecedented demand for the AI product. That's sentiment check, fundamentals check. Catalyst, I guess, is the recent earnings release. You can put it that way. So you got like all four pillars firing on Palantir. So I really like this stock right now here this morning, Palantir. All right.
And remember, I wanted to tell you that, one thing to mention too with PLTR, they are expected to be profitable on a GAAP basis for the first time in history. And so, this is a totally different story from what we've seen in the past. The stock's up 50% year to date. It's just phenomenal. And there's a bigger picture to notice with PLTR. And I think the stock will move, in my opinion, more than 100% in the next 12 months. So this to me is a good one for a longer term hold. I think it looks really great. And finally on a new uptrend persisting, just should make a move here. So love to see this go and love to see the shorts squeezed.
I agree with that analysis. And maybe I should pick up some pounds here for my IRA. All right. So I noticed your NVIDIA has been kicking butt, man. This is insane. This NVIDIA chart, also the Microsoft chart, they both look like they're headed to all-time highs. Talk to me.
Well, listen, NVIDIA has a lot of catalysts, right? We have the earnings going on coming next week. And, AI is so hot and NVIDIA is just such a big AI player, and a lot of people, a lot of companies using their technology. So, we have the earnings next week, which I think they'll do smashing. And, the other thing too, I think the guidance will be good. And Jensen Huang, he's going to be in Tokyo, as you know, on May 29. So, if he goes to that event, like the one he did not that long ago, talks and says AI 200 times, I mean, the stock's just going to go. So this is a great stock. We've had some also big hedge fund players buy more shares of NVIDIA. So there is a lot of hype on the stock. The cash flow positive. They have such great free cash flow. And, today's level to watch, if no one's, some people get like, oh, I missed out. You didn't miss out. If you missed out. So the level to watch for NVIDIA, especially if people want to day trade it or even, buy today, something for expiry even for next week. But I will say the contracts for next week are really expensive. So if anybody was to day trade, honestly, you have to do like a weekly because those are not much cheaper, but it has to break 306.50 and room on NVIDIA, to head towards 314. So I would say that it's a great trade for day trade if someone did a weekly, but you have to make sure you lock in those gains and, because it's a weekly and it expires tomorrow. The other thing too is, if you don't want to trade the options, trade the stock. So if it breaks 306.50, you can take a trade in NVIDIA and just day trade it. So it looks really good. So really loving NVIDIA.
And you've been loving it for months. You've been totally on top of this.
Oh my God, I've been loving this one for months. Yeah, at least since I think March, like January. Anyways, loving it all. I've been loving it all year. Yep. Walmart had earnings. Okay, so Walmart's on watch today. Earnings is done. So if Walmart can get over this 152.50, looks good here. Walmart to go to 154.68. So Walmart looks good. The other thing to mention, I mean, we have the debt ceiling, negotiations happening. So we should hopefully have an update on that. If not this weekend, then by sometime next week before the long weekend. But one thing to note is KRE, which is the bank ETF, is showing some bullish sentiment here, and I did have a lot of money flow on KRE. So the thing is that it's over $40. So my team is going to go into a swing trade on KRE for June 16, $40 calls, because there is a move coming on KRE, and the target that we're looking at for KRE is $46.25. So we're looking for a pretty good move, like $6. So $6.25. So even if someone wants to, buy the actual ETF, you could buy the KRE ETF and just sit with it and targeting 46.25. So that looks really good too.
Yep, and we've been talking about that and the good news that came out of Western Alliance the other day. KRE is right at the 20 DMA, so it's right at a breakout level.
It's ready.
My levels
don't forget Micron had the news. Micron had the news last night. So that one looks good today on the watch list, and that one's bullish right now. Currently over 66, looks great. It's at 66, looks good for a move. This can go to like 69.05 today on Micron. So, and that's been a great swing trade too. So I've been following that one like a hawk, because the money flow is just, remember with the money flow, one thing, people don't realize is, people like follow money. Why do you follow money? But the thing is, you want to see what is the smart money doing. But at the same time, when you see like big, massive prints, usually it's a sign that there could be news coming. Yeah. And look what happens. Micron had big prints over the past 2 weeks, and then news came out last night. So there's always like a reason for these really big prints, and usually it's because there's news coming. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens with KRE and NVIDIA. So, and Amazon, by the way, looks phenomenal for continuation. As long as over 116.50 this morning.
Yep, and I still love this. I still love it.
Yeah, room to 118.40. Maybe they'll have an Alexa PR soon on AI. Yep. We're waiting, right?
They kind of did yesterday, actually. They touched on it in some press release on updated Echo products. So, this looks great. I think 120 is what I see. I think it broke out already, and like 121 or something around there. 120, 121 is the target I'm looking for on Amazon. So I'm on board with you on all this stuff, especially Amazon and Palantir. I like those, and you've been killing it on NVIDIA. You're probably going to be right on Micron. So good job.
Yeah, that's what we do here, and keep printing. I know Joseph was asking about leveraged plays for NVIDIA, like MSFU for Microsoft or NVDA, or was there NVDA? I've never really traded these leverage plays, but NVDO, I think is one he said. NVDO. Yeah, it's that's the yeah. I've never traded that one, but that looks good too. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll check it out. So that's pretty much the focus. Amazon, NVIDIA, Micron. Oh, by the way, Netflix looks really good too. Netflix looks really nice.
Everything looks good. I love it. We're riding the wave. We're riding the wave
now.
right
now.
Yeah,
well, listen, we're riding the waves for now until they make that deal.
Don't fight the trend, right? Don't fight the trend.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I have a thesis. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I think I may put some of it on Twitter, but I am going to be shorting the market as soon as the debt ceiling is announced. All right. There's fundamental reasons for it. There's historical trend reasons that I've seen happening in the past. So I definitely am going to be buying puts as soon as that debt ceiling limit is approved. All right.
Yeah, I saw that news report too, and there is another article too that once the T-bill issued, the debt ceiling is raised, Yellen will need to raise cash, and so if that happens, the markets can suffer. So yeah, that is what I'm hearing as well. So something just to keep at the back of our minds and not be naive to the debt ceiling sounds lovely, but at the same time there could be some market reaction following that. So
all right, guys. Thank you, Vegas.
Okay, everyone. Have a great day. See you soon.
Great day. Follow Vegas on I Love Stocks 1 on Twitter, and we'll see you later.